Welcome back. Our next guest, Areva Martin, is certainly making her mark on society. The civil rights lawyer is a founding member of the African-American female-owned law firm Martin & Martin, LLP. She has a charity called Special Needs Network and a best-selling author of 4 books. Just a few things she's doing. Her latest is Awakening: Ladies, Leadership, and Lies We've Been Told. In her book, Areva continues to explore societal norms for gender roles within America's average working environment. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Congrats on another book.
Oh, well, it's exciting.
What a topic to tackle.
You know, we've been having this conversation about dismantling systems, and after George Floyd was murdered, we were talking about dismantling systemic racism, and I'm like, look, what about the barriers that women face? Those are also barriers that we should talk about.
Yeah, you describe this as a self-help book and a feminist manifesto all in one.
Yes, because as women, so many of us are told things that we can't do, and there's so many limitations placed on us. And I want to talk about some of the myths that women go into the workplace with and how we can debunk those myths and dismantle some of those systems that prevent us from achieving some of the highest positions in corporate America.
All right, you talk about the lies we've been told.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of those lies we've been told, please.
Yes, I talk about 5 in the book, although we know there are many, many more, but I had to narrow it down. And I start with the lie about work. Women are told if we just work hard, if we just try our best, if we show up early, if we stay late, that's going to be enough. And we know when we get into the workplace, there are those subjective things that don't have anything to do with our work, don't have anything to do with our merit, that often dictate how far you go in the workplace. So I wanted women to know, you know, we are working hard enough. Most of the women I know work really hard, right? At work, at home, we balance so many things. But there was this era and time when we were told to lean in, to do more. And I wanted women to feel, you know, the power that they already have. Women are doing enough. So it's not what we need to do, it's what the systems needs to do to make room and space for women.
For speaking with men about this book and about these ideals and lies, what has the response been?
Really positive. You know why? Because so many men are like, oh my God, I thought women had equity. I thought you guys were, you know, had achieved everything because I work next to a woman. You know, I have women supervisors or bosses. So when I give them examples, many men are like, you're right, I hadn't thought about it that way. And then you remind them about their daughters, their sisters, their wives, and all the women in their lives that they love and care about, and how they don't want those women to face barriers. I find that that's the most impactful way to reach men and get them to become our allies in this fight for equity.
We need those allies. All right, you talk about the working extra hard, leaning in. What other lies have we been told?
One of the biggest ones is that looks don't matter. We're told as women, again, just, you know, lead with your talents. And we know that women are discriminated against because of their looks. If you are quote unquote heavier, if you're too thin, you're too heavy. If you're African American, oftentimes your skin color. If you're considered a dark skinned woman, those are things that can impact, again, how you're perceived in the workplace and how far you go in some work environments. And we see, like Viola Davis's new movie, Woman King, she's been talking so much about how this movie centers not just African American women, but dark-skinned African American women and how important that is.
Well, and I think that's a whole other layer. You've got just the female layer of it, but then the skin tone, the skin color just adds on to it as well, and then the more physical appearance.
Yes, absolutely. And I talk a lot about that. And sometimes those subjects are a little uncomfortable for people, but, you know, we can't fix it if we don't acknowledge it.
You're here for the Congressional Black Caucus, right? What are you talking on this week?
I am. I'm actually sitting on a panel talking about health inequities and how we can address, again, some systemic problems that create disparities in the way that people access health care and the health outcomes that they achieve. Also meeting with some congressional leaders. As you mentioned in the lead-in, I have a nonprofit working with kids who have special needs and autism, so I'm also here to talk about legislation that can advance the causes of individuals living with autism.
This is incredible, woman. You are just, I mean, your mind and everything. Congrats on the book, and thank you for bringing this this topic once again to light as we continue to evoke change.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Areva. We appreciate it.